Mary J. Blige dropped her documentary, Queen of R&B, June 25th on Amazon Prime Video, to be exact. This is not a paid advertisement. Actually, none of the things that we say is a paid advertisement. But so I got to see this pretty much before we recorded. And first off, strong female. Can't knock Mary J. Blige and what she's done for hip hop and R&B, how much of an influence she has been, the countless of music that she's made, 13 albums, right? Lifetime Achievement Awards. I think she has an Oscar, Grammys. Wow. Like she has it all. With 13 albums, you had to win something. Okay.
For sure.
And pretty much the story of a lot of females in her generation and even still current, right? Now, for me, it was heavy. It was absolutely heavy to watch the documentary because for those who didn't watch it, and I'm not going to like spoil it, it's not like a movie, but it pretty much goes over her album, My Life, and where she was and, you know, pretty much the source of the inspiration, which was pretty much her life. And growing up, not having people to cheer her on, not believing in herself, going through abuse with, you know, different relationships, seeing it from her mom, just getting success fast and not feeling successful. That's something we need to talk about one day, or even if we go circle back around it. But just like how some people always want the success really fast, but are you really ready for it? Because when she got it, she felt empty because there was just like, I still have a lot of internal stuff to worry about, that all the success doesn't cover that up. All the trauma that I went through doesn't cover it up because I have furs and money and doing private jets now. Like, it's cool to have, but success means so much more than just that. Right. And this was before social media. You know, this was before what we thought perfect life success is. So to really get in her world with the success that she had and the real big backstory was really good to see, but it really was heavy. But to see the impact that she had, to see people just crying like, yo, you were speaking to me. We don't necessarily have role models of this kind of human being, like, especially of a female type, right? So to see everything come full circle, because like I said, I think she dropped her album in 1994.
Yeah, she's been out for a minute.
Right. And first off, still looks amazing. Still is relevant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Acting now.
Right. In a new Power Book 2, I think. So that's a different bag. Salute to the bag, right? Salute to the residuals of 13 albums. That's a body of work. You are good, ma'am. You are good for a while. You know what I mean? Because some of them are classics. So you are good with songs like Family Affair. You know what I mean? That everybody loves. It doesn't matter what nationality you are. You are loving that song.
And in an era where females like weren't really, you know, just like quick to reach stardom like that. You know, like her era, it wasn't like, you know, right now where you can easily accept a Cardi B or, you know, some of these other female artists. Is like at her time, it wasn't as readily accepted. So I think it's dope that speaks even more to, like you mentioned, her body of work, which is phenomenal.
Yep. So Did you watch it? I don't know if you watched it. Did you
No,
watch?
I watched some of it because I was watching the interviews in preparation for this, but I'm gonna circle back on it because I was like, okay, this is pretty dope.
But if we brought up the documentary, we have to break her down a little bit. So we got some clips that we just gonna talk about. We just gonna talk about it.
In order to grow, you have to change your environment. In order to get something new, you have to see something new. If my environment didn't change when I was living in Yonkers in the projects, if I didn't see something else, I had girlfriends that took me out of the projects, and I experienced Benzes and jewelry and furs and condos and houses, and I saw something else. So that made me want something else. So the environment is extremely important, and you're going to shed people, and it's going to be a little sad, but they have to go. When things start to stall, someone has to get off the boat or get off the bus. Everyone's not going.
Start this off, Moose.
Yeah, Mary came with the bars on this one right off the bat. She was just letting people know, like, hey, here's what it's about. I think the cool thing in watching a lot of her interviews, just like, to study her a little bit, it's like you mentioned, very tough upbringing, a difficult experience. So much of what she's sharing is some of the keys that we got to kind of add to, our toolkit of, okay, here's what helps us get to the next level. So I love what she talks about, the importance of environment, and we're fortunate to have people like Amal in our community, and of course many others who help us not just understand the importance of environment, but also expose us to other things, right? And it's one thing to talk about it, to like see it, maybe online. It's another thing to be in the space of that exposure, right? Like to physically be present. And I think that's the beauty of what she's talking about. Like when you can make the investment from time to time to set yourself up in an experience that allows you to be in the environment of people who are doing what you want to do or what you aspire to be, right? I can't explain it, but it's just something magical that often happens, that you can walk away from that feeling either inspired or ready to kind of take it up a notch. And that's kind of like what we talked about even in our last episode, when we talked about E being back outside and just being in that energy, in that space, and how you can come back home with some new energy. So I know she, builds on a couple of things and talking about letting people go. But really for me, it's like that bar right there about, the environment and being able to see things outside of what you believe to be norm. It kind of shocks your belief system to think, oh, okay, although this was my norm, that's not the only possibility. Like there's more out there to explore and discover.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
So, for me, like, how do I put this? I think we get so enwrapped with where we are right now, and so that's all we really see. Well, the thing with the documentary was that, like she said, she was so used to the projects and the friends that she had and people saying she couldn't do it. And, people like us don't do these things or don't have these things. And so when it's kind of embedded in your head, like you kind of drown out the ability of anything else. And so it was actually mentors of hers that like took her out of that place and say, hey, this is something different. Like Andre Harrell, rest in peace, was one of those people that was like, yo, you are amazing. And you are going to be performing with kings and queens. And she was like, yeah, whatever. Right. And everything that he said came true because he took her out of that environment and pushed her to believe like, yo, you could do this. You're not like everybody else. And though it took her a while to understand that and some ups and downs that may have set her back a bit, like, who is that person or group of people that can have you look at something different? Like you said, I'm very blessed to have the circle that we have, right? And it does help, but even for me, I almost seek for something more. I feel like there is something else out there besides the mansions, besides the having a certain amount of money in the bank account. You know, I don't know what that is. Like I don't,
Right.
but I feel
Right.
like there is a certain lifestyle that isn't glamorized, that isn't shown too much, that would bring a sense of peace and accomplishment. And I don't know. So it's weird, but that's the environment that I seek to find, that hopefully one day that I could show others that, yeah, we have this, but we have this too.
Yeah.
But also, my question to you is, what is one thing that is so important with environment that we don't really put too much weight on?
And
I
I mean,
got him to think. I got him to think.
yeah,
people.
no, because I was gonna say, like, I know we've talked about values before. We've talked about common interests before. We've talked about mutualism before.
Yeah.
You know, maybe one of them is work ethic.
Okay.
You know, because there's another clip, and I'm sure we'll get to it in a sec, but you'll start to see that a lot of the people who are where we see them to be, and of course at a high level that is respected and well honored, there is a level of intent that comes with their work that is not necessarily documented like that, because it's not glamorous, like you mentioned, right? So like the working part of it isn't as fun as the performing part of it, or it can't possibly be sold, right, or marketed as the music element. So like, if you go into an environment and it doesn't give you that juice to want to do more, yeah, the window's open. I'm telling you, people are outside, live and direct, and it's hot. Yeah.
I was like, hey, yo, what kind of motorcycle event is happening?
Oh yeah. No, it's happening. It's happening.
We
Welcome to the
outside,
city,
people.
y'all.
We outside.
Welcome to the city. We were recording before with the windows open and we didn't hear nothing, but now that everyone's out, yeah, it's out here. Yeah. Threw off my whole thing. What was I saying?
I know. I
don't
got
know
it.
No, but no, it's just like, you know, you got to be in certain spaces. Like, I would hope that you go to a space and you get uplifted, like I said, energized, wanting to come back and do more.
Yeah.
Not go to a space that it depletes you, that you're like, oh man, like, you know, it has you questioning yourself. Like your posture kind of shrinks a little bit as a result of being in that environment. So I would say, you know, maybe one of those things is just like, yo, make sure that environment uplifts you and pushes you to want to work and do a little bit more as well when you come back.
Yeah, that even small changes with the environment kind of helps too. Like, I know, shout out to those people who still can't get accustomed to going back outside and are still home, right? But even to the point of like going to a hotel for the night, just change the environment to open up your mind. Like, and I think, you know, the way she explained it clearly with the environment, like she saw more more materialistic things that she didn't think she could possibly have. But sometimes when I think about changing your environment, I think of opening your mind to just new possibilities, not necessarily materialistic, but just creativity, different ideas, and just looking at things from different perspectives is what a change of environment can mean. And that doesn't necessarily mean, okay, let me go into these expensive cars and private jets and everything. It could literally go, yo, let me, instead of going for the walk around my complex, let me go to the park. Let me go to the beach. Let me, get out of the state real quick and just have a vacation, quote unquote, or let me even stay in the state and have a staycation. do something to open your mind to new things, even if you don't have those group of people or mentors that can show you a different thing. It sometimes takes you to get out of that spot before somebody else can take you out of that spot. So I like what she said about environment, because I do believe it's very important. But some of our listeners may be like, I don't have an Andre Harrell. I don't have a Diddy.
Right.
I don't have these people of high places to make me see something different. No, you have YouTube, right? That's a start.
Yep.
It just envision what that thing would look like. Like, I'm big on looking at the $1 million houses. Side note, I saw a $4 million house. I'm looking, shout out to Texas. I'm really looking at Texas lately, right?
Really?
Yeah, and it goes completely the opposite of being a New Yorker, because New York and Texas has this weird rivalry, right? But I was looking, and they had like this $4 million house, but it was like 4 bedrooms. I was like, so I'm paying $1 million for each bedroom?
Each bedroom.
Nah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not having it. But then I looked, and I'm gonna send it to you. There was this house that was like 400, 500K that looked almost like as great. And I was like,
That's crazy.
Am I moving to Texas? Is this happening? Is this
the vibe?
Is this what we're doing? Is this still doing research, people, before y'all like, yeah, go. And all my Atlanta people, no, come to Atlanta. No. Let me continue to visit Atlanta for me. But I am starting to really pay attention to possible places, because I've been saying I don't like Virginia because I need to change my environment.